Donald Trump refused to shake hands with Angela Merkel as a first meeting between the two leaders, which was postponed from Tuesday because of snow, got off to a distinctly frosty start. The German chancellor and U.S. president posed for the press in the Oval Office, and photographers could be heard calling for the two to shake hands. Mrs. Merkel turned and smiled at her host, asking him, "Do you want to have a handshake?" But Mr. Trump, who had appeared to hold hands with Theresa May, the prime minister, when they walked together during her White House visit in January, looked down at the floor and avoided all eye contact with his guest. Mrs. Merkel grimaced slightly but soon brushed off the awkward incident and began the task of attempting to build a new transatlantic partnership, quipping in their later press conference that the two leaders will work together hand in hand. The U.S. president reassured her that his administration would respect historic institutions. Amid fears in Europe that he could scale back U.S. military support for NATO, but insisted that allies must pay what they owe. "I reiterated to Chancellor Merkel my strong support for NATO as well as the need for our NATO allies to pay their fair share for the cost of defense," he said. She responded by saying that Germany needed to meet NATO's spending goals. The two agreed on the need for cooperating in the fight against Islamic State terrorists in Syria, Iraq, and Libya and the peace process in Ukraine. Mrs. Merkel stressed the importance of improving relations with Russia, and Mr. Trump was thought to have sought ideas from her on how to deal with Vladimir Putin, the Russian president. She also delivered a staunch defense of globalization and said she hoped the US and the EU could resume discussions on a trade agreement. For his part, Mr. Trump rejected accusations his America First agenda was isolationist and said he was only attempting to improve trade deals to protect U.S. interests rather than pull back from the world entirely. The question about his supposed isolationism clearly angered him as he shot back at the reporter, "I don't know what newspaper you're reading, but I guess that would be an example of fake news."